It's Thursday, the 16th of March, 2023. Welcome to the Fast Five by Fear and Greed, where we give you the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Sean Aylmer.
Good morning, Michael.
Sean, we've got 5 stories to get through in 5 minutes. Let's jump straight into it. Story number 1 is not necessarily good news. The energy crisis came back into the spotlight yesterday in a big way, with the regulator saying that households will face power price rises of between 25 and 30% from the 1st of July.
The Australian Energy Regulator released its draft electricity safety net prices for the next financial year, and it's approved big price increases for more than 600,000 customers on default market offers in southeast Queensland, New South Wales and South Australia. So households and business power prices will jump 22% in New South Wales, 20% in Queensland and more in South Australia. Households in Victoria and regional Queensland will be hit harder, with average annual power bills set to jump 31% in Victoria and about 29% in areas of Queensland that have regulated prices. This is huge. What happens? Once a year, the regulator sets a price cap for the big retailers, AGL Energy, Origin Energy, Energy Australia, those guys, to work out what price they can charge we customers. The regulator takes into account global energy prices, among other things. Yesterday, it said the big jump reflects the very high coal and gas prices that resulted from the war in Ukraine, the pandemic, and outages, particularly in older coal plants. Now, the government last year said it would keep a cap on energy prices. It doesn't sound like it, but Energy Minister Chris Bowen yesterday came out and said the increases will hurt many families, but it would have been a lot worse had the government not stepped in to ease wholesale power prices late last year. What this really brings into focus is the crisis in Australia's energy market. We don't have enough capacity coming on board. Snowy Hydro 2.0 is a couple of years behind. AGL Energy's Liddell coal-fired power station in the Hunter Valley in New South Wales will close next month. This is a real crisis for the next few years for the Australian energy market.
Yeah, sure is. On to story number 2 now, Sean. And former Prime Minister Paul Keating yesterday gave his views on the AUKUS submarine deal, describing it as the worst decision by a Labor government since World War I.
Yes, not since Billy Hughes introduced conscription back then has a Labor government done something so stupid. Now, his main beef is that the subs being developed are designed to sit off the coast of China. In contrast, the Collins-class boats, which he okayed, were designed to defend Australia and repel any invasion. As Keating put it, it's a strange way to be defending Australia, to have your submarine sunk on the Chinese continental shelf. The always outspoken Keating said China has no plans to attack the US or Australia. He said no one really threatens the US because it has the greatest armament build-up in history, and there's no way they'd ever consider attacking the US. There you go.
Sean, story number 3 is an interesting one. The Sun Cable project is the electricity infrastructure project planning to include the world's largest solar plant in the Northern Territory, the world's largest battery, and the world's longest submarine power cable linking the Northern Territory to Singapore. It went into administration back in January, but now there's a bunch of bidders for it, including Mike Cannon-Brookes and Andrew Forrest.
Yes, and of course, Cannon-Brookes from Atlassian and Andrew Forrest from Fortescue were formerly partners in the venture, but a high-profile fallout between the two resulted in the collapse of the company behind Sun Cable. That was mid-January, and now the administrators are looking to firm up a shortlist, which will include both gentlemen in some form or other, plus others. Now, essentially, Cannon-Brookes still supports the idea of a 4,200-kilometre undersea high-voltage power line, but Forrest is proposing a huge solar farm near Tennant Creek in the heart of the Northern Territory, which potentially could be used to power green hydrogen production. It doesn't seem that anyone wants to dump the project. Certainly there's enough interest to make the $35 billion project go ahead.
Story number 4, Sean, Tasmanian salmon is about to go global after the owner of Tassal, which used to be listed on the ASX, purchased one of the US's biggest distributors.
Yes, so Canadian aquaculture giant Cook bought Tassal 4 months ago for $1.7 billion. It's now acquired a company called Slade Gordon, which is a seafood distributor based in Massachusetts. Now, the boss of Cook told The Australian that he plans to export Tassal's products into new markets, including Europe, where it recently acquired another seafood distributor. The chief executive, whose name is also Cook, as it turns out, a family member, said Tasmania sells and he'll use that marketing advantage. Now, the most recent deal will allow Cook to push tassel products deeper into the US market.
All right, last one, Sean. Story number 5. A plan to beat internet trolls has gone horribly wrong for one of China's biggest car makers.
Yes, a Great Wall Motor Company, which sells plenty of vehicles in Australia, last week said it would pay cash to people exposing internet trolls. If a tip-off's accuracy is verified by the company and a law enforcement agency, a reward will be paid. Sounds like a good idea. And it was in response to allegedly paid trolls disputing manufacturing information, defects, stuff like that. Now, keep in mind that China's internet is already heavily controlled and there are legal avenues to get at trolls. Anyway, the response from the public was immediate. Basically, a flock of users jumped on, mocked the plan, saying the company should spend the money on making better vehicles. According to Bloomberg, internet users also claimed hypocrisy, pointing out that many of the positive comments on the company's Weibo, which is China's version of Twitter, were left by the same accounts and sometimes duplicated, something commonly seen with paid-for fake social media accounts. Home goal, that one.
Yeah, sounds like it. There we go, the top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Michael.
It's Thursday, the 16th of March, 2023. Remember to hit follow on the podcast, and if 5 minutes isn't enough, you can find our longer daily show called Fear and Greed wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm Michael Thompson, and that was the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed. Have a great day.